Ever wonder what it takes to join Canada's richest 1% and how those elite investors make their money work for them? Do you recognize any of these Canadian billionaires? Look at these guys. Talk about lifestyles of the rich and famous. Billionaires. Sherry Bryson, 16.7 billion. Joseph Tsai, 11.8 billion. David Cheriton, 13.5 billion. And Mr. Zhao, 62.9 billion. If only. Imagine two friends, Alex and Blair. Both earn paychecks. Alex starts buying a little stock and perhaps a rental condo early on, while Blair simply spends every dollar that comes in. Fast forward a few years, Alex has generating income, dividends, rent, etc., whereas Blair still relies on that single salary. See, experts say that in order to build lasting wealth, you need appreciating assets, things like stocks, property, or business equity. So, in other words, the rich use their paychecks to invest in these growing assets. And then those assets return money to them in the form of dividends, rental income, and resale value. So maybe you do have a high salary, and at best, yeah, maybe with a really high salary, you could end up being rich. But to truly be wealthy, you need your money working for you. And that's where appreciating assets come into play. Beyond a job, the richest people often have something extra, a business or a side gig. Maybe you've seen somebody turn a hobby into cash, a friend who starts selling crafts at home, tutoring after work, or building an app on weekends. These side hustles can pump extra money into your pocket and eventually grow sometimes into full fledged businesses. For example, Dave from Calgary started freelancing as a graphic designer on the side of his engineering job. In a few years, he had enough clients to hire and help expand it into an agency. Stories like Dave's shows that starting small can pay off. Taking on gig work is common. It can help pay for bills or save for goals, but it often means longer hours and more responsibility. The key is to do it with purpose. If your extra work is just to binge spend, you might burn out. But if you're putting that cash into starting a business, paying down debt, or saving for a house, then the hustle fuels your bigger goals. Put simply, use any side gig income strategically. Funnel it toward growth or investment, not just more consumption. When done right, a side business or freelance work can become another asset that makes money for you, not just an activity you do in your spare time. Put simply, use any side gig income strategically. Funnel it toward growth or investment, not just more consumption. To help take control of your finances, consider picking up my book, Rich Life Rising, on Amazon.ca. One of the most powerful tricks in the Wealth Builders Playbook is time. The earlier you start putting money into investments, the more it can grow over years. This isn't just a motivational speech, it's math. Thanks to compound interest, even small amounts can balloon over time. In fact, Albert Einstein reportedly called compound interest the most powerful force in the universe. For example, imagine putting in $3,000 a year into a diversified portfolio, even in small chunks like $250 a month. After 25 years at just 5% average return, you'd end up with roughly $150,000, about double what you put in. In other words, your money made money on the money it made. So again, time in the market beats time in the market. You don't need to become some day trader or pick fancy stocks. Even simple index funds or retirement accounts that automatically reinvest dividends can be enough. The trick is start early, keep at it, and let the magic of compound interest do its work. Over time, that disciplined habit can make a huge difference in your net worth. Mastering taxes can fast track your wealth. In Canada, we have tools like RRSPs, registered retirement savings accounts, and TFSAs, tax-free savings account, that let your money grow tax efficiently. A financial planner at a big bank advises one of the main pillars of a good tax strategy is maxing out your RRSPs, TFSAs, and other registered plans. Here's why. When you contribute to an RRSP, you immediately reduce your taxable income. For that year, you pay less tax now and typically pay less tax when you withdraw, ideally in retirement when you're in a lower tax bracket. That could mean a big tax refund that you can then reinvest. On the other hand, TFSA contributions are made with after-tax dollars, and then the money grows completely tax-free. Whether it's interest, dividends, or capital gains in a TFSA, you won't pay any tax on withdrawals. That's powerful stuff. Consider Lily, a 30-year-old teacher. She takes home $6,000 and stuffs it into her TFSA. She never pays a dime of tax on the investment income inside that account. If she had put the same money in a regular brokerage account, she'd owe capital gains tax. Over decades, that extra tax-free compounding can add up. Beyond these, wealthy Canadians also use strategies like income splitting with a spouse, claiming all available deductions, or running a small business which has its own tax rules to minimize taxes. The principle is simple. Money saved on taxes is money added to your net worth. Every dollar the government doesn't take as tax can instead stay invested or spent smartly by you. If you're enjoying this content, I'd really appreciate a subscribe. What else do the wealthy do? Well, they never stop learning. The world of money never stands still. Markets change, new investments pop up, tax laws get tweaked, so staying curious pays off. Savvy people read books, follow reliable financial news or podcasts, and sometimes talk to mentors or advisors. The goal is to keep your financial know-how sharp. Being financial literate literally empowers you. It's like it lets you make smarter decisions about your finances and avoid mistakes. For example, understanding how interest rates affect your mortgage or knowing about index funds versus individual stocks can save you thousands or help you grow wealth faster. I'm going to put a link in the description of the video that points to a couple of good books. One of them, of course, is Rich Life Rising, my book, available on Amazon. Other ones include Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and also The Wealthy Barber. Research shows that people who educate themselves about money, budgeting, debt management, and investing are better able to set and reach their goals. It's like learning any skill. A bit of effort up front can prevent big headaches later. For instance, by learning about inflation and interest early, you realize why parking your cash under your mattress loses value. Or by studying retirement planning, you pick up tips on pensions, CPP, and how to avoid pitfalls like cashing out on an RRSP too soon. The main point is never assume you know everything. The rich mindset includes reading up on finances regularly, so swap an hour of Netflix for an insightful blog post or a short finance video. Over the long haul, that ongoing education keeps your money moves on track. We've said that owning assets is crucial, and one reason is that they earn money for you around the clock, 24/7. Think of interest, dividends, or rental checks as your money overtime pay. For example, when you put cash in an index fund, that fund might pay dividends every quarter. When you buy a bond, it might pay interest every year. And if you own a rental property, rent is collected even while you sleep. In this way, your wealth is constantly clocking in, unlike your salary, which only comes in every 2 weeks. As an example, imagine you won $1,000. You could spend it all on a fun weekend, gone in days, or you can invest it in a dividend paying stock or a high interest savings account. Even at a modest 3% return, that $1,000 makes $30 in a year. Keep reinvesting those $30. Next year, it earns even more. Over time, the compounding turns the original $1,000 into a much bigger pile. In short, when your money works for you, it helps build that long-term wealth snowball that we talked about. Now, I'm not saying don't ever have fun, don't spend your money. After all, you work hard for your money, and what's life without a little fun? All I'm saying is that balance things out and make sure you tuck some money away for the future, because your future self will thank you. Money isn't the only thing that opens doors, so do people. Successful Canadians often say it's who you know, not just what you know. This doesn't mean knowing celebrities. It means having mentors, colleagues, and friends in various industries who can help you learn new skills or spot opportunities. For example, maybe a coworker mentions a side project needing extra help, or a fellow parent connects you to a great financial advisor, or an acquaintance later becomes a business partner. The chances often come through relationships. Studies and career experts agree that networking is vital for success. In practice, that could be as simple as attending a meetup for young professionals, joining a local entrepreneur group, or even just reaching out on LinkedIn to someone you admire. A strong network can lead to referrals, advice, or joint ventures that you wouldn't find on your own. One career guide puts it plainly: by nurturing professional relationships, you open doors to opportunities. Finally, let's talk spending. A big paycheck can be nice, but if it all disappears, it doesn't help in the long run. Wealthy people tend to be purposeful spenders. They think value over price. In other words, instead of asking, what's the cheapest I can find, they'll ask, is this really worth it? So instead of upgrading to the latest iPhone every year, a wealthy mindset is more likely to say, this one works fine, I'll save the money or invest it. They focus on quality or experiences that truly matter, like education and health, and trim spending that doesn't add long-term benefit. This doesn't mean being cheap, it means spending intentionally. Many wealthy folks, of course, still enjoy nice things. They just make sure it aligns to their values and goals. For instance, if a luxurious trip to Europe, let's say, brings them joy and family memories, they'll prioritize that and budget it. If designer clothes don't matter to them, they'll just skip that expense. The key is balance. Financial freedom often comes from living below your means and investing the difference. It's using money to support what matters: freedom, growth, and long-term security. That can mean automating savings, paying yourself first, keeping an eye on recurring expenses, those streaming services or phone bills that sneak up on you, and always checking, does this purchase help me or my family, before you swipe that credit card. Even setting something up like autopay on bills to avoid late fees is a tiny trick many wealthy people use without thinking. Over time, smart spending, even in small ways, add up. It's the difference between someone who lives rich by spending it all now and someone who gets rich by preserving and investing that money for the future. Staying focused on value and not just consumption. A dollar not spent unnecessarily is a dollar you can invest or save, and that helps build real wealth. Help me reach more viewers just like you by hitting that subscribe button. And don't forget to check out my book, Rich Life Rising on Amazon.ca. Bye for now.